Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. We begin with our big story. Governor Ducey officially kicked off his re-election bid today. The focus of his campaign, securing Arizona's future.
The governor releasing this new video touting his successes over the past 4 years and what he hopes to accomplish in a second term. Team 12's Bram Resnick is here to verify the governor's major claims and what he's not telling voters. Bram?
Now, we verified the governor has several things to claim credit for in that campaign video, jobs and school funding, some other things, but he is steering clear of driverless cars after that fatal accident 3 months ago. Let's start by verifying the governor's record on jobs.
Politicians or governors don't create jobs. I always get a kick out of it when people say that they create jobs.
Governor Doug Ducey's campaign does take credit for 160,000 new private sector jobs, all created since the state recovered all of the jobs lost during the Great Recession. We verified that number is correct. Now education.
In these past 3 years, we've been able to put $1.7 billion into K-12 education.
We verified that number is also correct. However, most of the $1.7 billion was approved by voters as a partial payment for money the state legislature owed our schools. What about the border?
Arizona and America is safer because of the border strike force.
The governor gave the State Department of Public Safety more than $40 million to go after drug cartels. The results, according to his campaign, more than 3,000 arrests and thousands of pounds of marijuana and hard drugs seized. We couldn't independently verify those numbers. We're also verifying what Governor Ducey's campaign video doesn't tell voters.
I say I want a government that works at the speed of business. We've had a number of successes.
And 2 major failures. Ducey signed a bill allowing a company called Theranos to perform blood tests on Arizonans without a doctor's order. The company's founders have been charged with fraud. Thousands of Arizonans were placed at risk.
The New York Times described us in a front page above the fold article as having a tech boom.
That tech boom was driven by autonomous cars using Arizona roads as their test track. Ducey welcomed them with the promise of no rules. That promise ended in tragedy when a self-driving Uber killed a Tempe pedestrian last March. And one more thing the governor's campaign left out of his video, any mention of Mexico. And that's interesting because just last week, Doug Ducey's spokesman tweeted that Arizona's strong ties to Mexico might be the most underreported story of the year.
And what's going on there? Is it all about immigration?
Totally about immigration. Right now, Doug Ducey faces a primary. He's got to appeal to the Republican primary voters. And you look at the polls, the Republican primary voters are all in on what Donald Trump is doing at the border. It's likely to stay that way. Now, when we go to the general election, assuming Doug Ducey wins the primary, I think you'll see him swinging more to the center, and we might hear more about those very close ties to Mexico.
All right. Thank you so much, Bram.